What was a time when you used an intercourse move you saw in an adult movie in real life and it ended horribly? I tried to pull off a standing 69. I dropped my poor girlfriend on her head. The old tombstone pile driver. Right? More like dropped his girlfriend 16 feet through an announcer's table. By God, she is broken in half. First time I came in a girl's mouth, she spit it out in her hand and threw it at me in surprise. It was her first time giving a blowjob. She Spider-Man'd your butt. Think fast. Thwip! Spider-Man, Spider-Man, gives BJ's, spits in his hand, throws the web in your eyes. Do not F a girl up against the glass wall in the shower, especially not in a rented apartment. That wall is expensive. Holy cow, were either of you hurt? Aside from some bruises, only my wallet was hurt. We rented an apartment in Warsaw to stay for the weekend to have lots of doing it as I visited her. She's a student at the university down there. The owner was not happy about it for sure. Yes, the old Polish shower intercourse move. Lots of effing, but none of it pleasant, followed by war reparations. My girlfriend at the time was giving me a BJ while I was standing up, and I thought I'd return the favor by picking her up and spinning her upside down for a standing 69. She got freaked out about being picked up, farted, which made me gag, and I ended up giving her a tombstone in the living room of my first apartment. She kinked her neck and hit her foot on the edge of my coffee table, while the forward momentum of the drop caused me to slowly fall on top of her, bending my D on her stomach. That emergency room visit wasn't a fun one, and the doc couldn't stifle his laughter during our explanation. This is like the 5th wrestling reference I've seen in this thread. I like it. Undertaker would be proud. Decided to give daring outside intercourse a go. Drove down a country road and pulled over. Started going at it with my butt hanging off the hood of the car. We hear a car approaching, and my partner panics and drops me on my butt, flat on my bare butt in the dirt as a car comes along while he stands there all nonchalant. Thanks, honey. I thought I'd try DP, but then the one guy started sucking the other guy's D, so it never happened. I won't be exploring that any further. Well, that ended up a disappointment. Not for the guys. Ladies, some guys are interested in a threesome because it's just that kinky. And some guys are into a threesome because they're also into other guys. Picked girlfriend up, put her on the dining room table to F. Ended up breaking the table, blamed it on the dog. Fun times. How big was the dog? Not too big, just said girlfriend tripped over him on way in getting from the beach. Your dog broke the table by effing your girlfriend on it? Put that on the list of reasons not to F a dog. I'm 4'11" and my husband is 6'2". We tried to F standing up, leaning on nothing in particular when he hoisted me into the air and then lost his grip. The man dropped me on the floor like a sack of potatoes. Your username, Little Beefer, for some reason makes this 10 times funnier. I was once trying to do some rough play with my current significant other. Things heated up in the living room and escalated to me picking her up and carrying her to my bedroom. Once there, in an attempt to manhandle her and show off strength, I chucked her onto the bed like a brute, which banged the F out of her tailbone and resulted in her crying for 10 minutes. The intercourse did not continue. We were on the bed, and I tried to pick her up and F her against the wall while standing on the bed. I didn't know her bed was on wheels. Bed slides out, and we go into the gap. My forehead breaks her nose and splits her lip. You still finished, though, right? You know, 'cause you're not a quitter. I put my thumb in a girl's mouth 'cause I saw Dr. Manhattan do it. My finger is not like kissing a battery, and I don't have bangin' blue muscles. Was a mistake. Bet you wish you could escape to Mars after trying to pull that move. I C-slapped a girl's lips, and she started laughing. I don't know how to take that. I would do the same. It's not intimate at all and feels pretty damn weird. I was a virgin making out with a girl in bed one night. I didn't know how to ask if she wanted to do it, so I asked, "Want a root?" She peed herself laughing, and she made me wait another month to finally lose my virginity. The Australian has been spotted. I repeat, the Australian has been spotted. Guilty. As a fellow Australian, I can tell you that wanna F had worked for me once or twice. Was getting naughty against a wall and tried to pick her up by grabbing the back of her thighs and lifting. She just slid down the wall and landed bare butt on the floor, one of my smoother moves. Smoothest intercourse to oral transition ever. Tried to last an hour. Didn't last an hour. Just wait for daylight savings time. I asked my wife to call me Poppy/Poppy during intercourse and forgot about the request. A few days later, she yelled out, "Oh, Poppy." I stopped my fantastic moves and looked her in the eye and said, "Who the hell is Bobby? That boy ain't right. I'm gonna sex you just right. There's gonna be a bit of pleasure mixed with a bit of propane." My Hank Hill impression is awful. Not me, but my roommate. He and his girlfriend tried something while standing up. Heard a primal scream. She runs out naked, screaming for us to help. Ran in, and his D was broken. I cannot explain what I saw. A D is pointing entirely in the wrong direction, looking blue and red. He was in agony, but could not touch it. We called an ambulance. It was pretty serious, we heard later. He had to stay in the hospital a couple days. To this day, we don't know what they were trying. Does it still work? If I remember, he spent 2 or 3 days in hospital, had to keep ice on it to keep swelling down. It was really a serious issue according to him. Blood kept pumping in. I think it still functions, but I have not seen it since then, so you need to go take a look, for science and crap. Dude, mind if I take a picture of your D? Some people on the internet were asking because I told that story you said to never tell anyone because it was embarrassing. Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the video and have a wonderful day. Not seen in an adult film, but in a chat room while I was in college. I was talking to a woman online. She was going on and on about how her husband used a Hall's cough drop on her while going down on her, and she loved it. So I tried it on my girlfriend, now wife. It's been almost 20 years, and the image of her holding her crotch, jumping around, and yelling, "It burns! It burns!" remains seared in my memory. You got trolled, sir. How could anyone think that's a good idea? Goddamn Cosmo articles again! Rub icy hot on his balls and enjoy the added enthusiasm while you ride him like a bucking bronco. When I was a teenager, the guy kept sticking his finger in me, then into my mouth. It was annoying, and I asked him to stop multiple times. He wouldn't, so I figured I would do this thing I saw on Winamp Adult Film Stream. I snowballed him. He really wasn't about that life, ended up vomiting off the side of the bed. He never did the finger thing again, and we broke up a few months after. I laid my wife on the edge of the bed with her head hanging off and tried to face F her. She wasn't having it. Did you talk about it beforehand? It's a good way to get deeper, but not unexpectedly, and not if they dislike rough oral to start with. I once used a numbing condom without realizing it. She finished, and I wasn't even close. Effing weird. She removed the condom and started sucking me off. After a couple minutes, she attempted to articulate that her mouth was feeling funny. We checked the box and laughed for days. Her: "Did you just spit on my pee?" Me: Yeah. Her: "Well, that just killed the mood. I'm gonna leave now." I had a female friend tell me women were just as nasty as men. I explained that if I was receiving a blowjob and the girl spat on my D, I'd find it hot. If I was eating a girl out and spat on her V, things would be over. She responded with, "Well, that's just gross." I accepted that as concession. C slapped her in the face. All the tears. Who was the one crying, though? Both of them, as was their custom. I tried to F the pizza delivery guy. Needless to say, I didn't even get the pizza. Older lady in wealthier neighborhood would request me by name, 19-year-old college student at the time, and answer the door in a silk sheer bathrobe and no pants. Finally, on the 4th visit or so, she propositioned me, and I wanted to turn her down nicely because great tip money. So I said, wouldn't your husband be upset? And she goes, "No, sweetie, he wants to watch." Noped the hell out of there. We started sending our greasiest 30-year-old land blob to that house, and then they stopped ordering entirely. I think they got the hint. Was she attractive? The real question. Anyone can get laid if their standards are low enough. In college, my ex was riding me, sitting with her legs wrapped around me. I picked her up and pushed her up against the wall, and put her halfway through the flimsy drywall back first. We finished, though, because I ain't no quitter. I don't think that defines as ended horribly. Honestly, it's a conversation starter. I hooked up with an exotic dancer while I was in college. We played a game where I would grab some food and do something naughty with it. She was blindfolded, and I would have to guess what the food was. Since I was in college, I didn't have much in the pantry, so I grabbed a pickle and effed her with it. She owed, and then when she took her blindfold off and found out it was a pickle, she freaked out. Something about effing her with a half-sour kosher pickle grossed her out. The idea of brine in my V is kinda disconcerting, I have to say. I'm not sure why. Crap's not osmotically balanced, I get you. Food near the genitals is really bad and can cause problems. Older me knows better. Eating sushi off someone's chest? Yes. Pickle in the V? No. You want a sandwich in the middle of doing it? Look, I'm doing it. I'm hungry. I wanted a bite of a sandwich. Does anybody get this dumb Seinfeld reference I'm failing at? No? Great. 2008. Had a girlfriend who was much younger than me. One day she was going down on me when I suggested that we try 69. She'd never heard of 69 before. I had to stop her from what she was doing, explain to her what it was, and after seeing her horrified reaction, she almost started crying, she was so upset. I not just gave up on the idea, but she became really reticent to do it with me much more after that, as she wasn't into kinky intercourse. Then she discovered Twilight, and we stopped being physical altogether. Then we broke up. Before I suggested 69, she was all over me. As soon as I suggested it, it was like I'd told her that I'd kill her family if she touched my pee ever again. Hopefully she's had a few more years to live and experience things and doesn't view 69ing as kinky. It isn't. I mean, there's 69 in adult film, but it's not like I was asking her to do a bareback anal gangbang or anything. Bro, so was she okay with you going down on her as well as her going down on you? 69 is a very, very small step from there. It's actually more of a careful rotation maneuver. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.